is brought to you by Teplic Laser Surgery Centers. Your vision for the future.
On World News Tonight this Wednesday, President Clinton says there's been a breakthrough in the Middle East. The Israelis and the Syrians will talk peace in Washington. There's a major report on the homeless in America today and a colossal battle in New York City about how the homeless should be treated. We'll take a closer look at one of the most promising new medical treatments to come along in years, gene therapy. And should a 15-year-old boy face criminal prosecution for what he did on a hockey rink?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We're going to begin this evening with the President's final news conference of the year. Mr. Clinton brought the headline with him. The two most stubborn adversaries in the Middle East have agreed to negotiate with each other under American auspices. The President was in front of the White House press corps for more than an hour. He does love to talk. Today, a chance for him and the reporters who cover him to take stock of the year. At the White House, our reporter, John Cochran.
President Clinton began today by saying American diplomatic efforts have helped bring about what he called a truly historic opportunity.
Israelis and Syrians still need to make courageous decisions in order to reach a just and lasting peace. But today's step is a significant breakthrough, for it will allow them to deal with each other face to face. And that is the only way to get there.
The president was also questioned about a foreign policy problem he has not been able to resolve: Russia's military drive against Chechnya. Some countries suggest Russia may be committing war crimes against civilians and threaten sanctions against Moscow. President Clinton says he is not ready to do that.
I think it's important to point out to the American people that 2/3 of the aid that we spend in Russia is involved in denuclearization and safeguarding nuclear materials. And I think it is plain that we have an interest in continuing that.
This is the president's foreign policy headache closest to home: what to do about 6-year-old Elian Gonzalez. His Florida relatives want him to remain in Miami. Fidel Castro and the boy's father want him back in Cuba. President Clinton said that decision should be made by following the law.
The question is, and I think the most important thing is what would be best for the child. And there is a legal process for determining that.
Privately, U.S. officials believe the law favors the boy's father, and American diplomats plan to meet with the father in Cuba to explain to him how to make his case to get his boy back. That is not what some in Florida's anti-Castro community want to hear. They want a firm decision to keep the boy in the United States. And the Clinton administration worries that Florida voters could take out their frustration on Al Gore's presidential campaign. The president said politics should play no part in deciding the boy's future, but that decision could have major political consequences. John Cochran, ABC News, the White House.
Elian Gonzalez is getting a lot of attention for a little boy. As long as his fate is yet to be decided, everywhere he goes, somebody's watching him. The U.S. today did make it clear that Elian's father, Juan Miguel Gonzalez, has legal rights to seek the return of his son. In Cuba, where there was a 4th day of demonstrations against the United States, Mr. Gonzalez said he did not think that that was necessary. ABC's Morton Dean is there.
At his home in Cardenas, the boy's father today refused to allow his picture to be taken. But off camera, he told ABC News, "I have no reason to go to Miami or to any court to claim my son." And what he was now hearing gave him confidence that my son will be back very soon. That view was echoed by Elian's grandparents today, the parents of his mother who drowned during the voyage to Florida. The people have been demonstrating day and night, she said, so the U.S. must be feeling some pressure. And they're feeling some hope. That's why they say they decorated this room in preparation for their grandson's return. The story of Elian Gonzalez continues to captivate many Cubans, and thousands are gathering for another demonstration this evening. Fidel Castro remains intimately involved. ABC News was told that Castro and his top aides watched President Clinton's news conference this afternoon to hear what he had to say about the young boy. A baseball game provided proof today that some aspects of U.S.-Cuban relations continue to prosper. Boys from Palm Beach, Florida, here to play the home team. The score 1-1. A playoff scheduled tomorrow, as is another protest in support of Elian Gonzalez. Morton Dean, ABC News, Havana.
Here's a question that's been asked many times. When Martin Luther King was assassinated, was James Earl Ray acting alone? In Memphis today, for the first time, a jury has found a conspiracy in the assassination. It is exactly what the King family believes to be the truth. Here's ABC's Jamie Floyd.
Today's judgment came in a suit brought by Dr. King's family against Lloyd Jowers, a 73-year-old Memphis businessman who told ABC News 6 years ago that someone other than James Earl Ray had been paid to kill Dr. King.
Do you know who killed Dr. King? I know who was paid to do it.
Today, the jury found Jowers was part of a conspiracy involving Ray, the state of Tennessee, the Memphis Police Department, and the federal government. Jowers' credibility has been challenged, and state and federal authorities have been reluctant to reopen the case, although the Justice Department has agreed to conduct a limited investigation. In their suit, the King family asked only for $100 in damages, which the jury awarded. What they wanted most was for a jury to find evidence of a conspiracy.
It really does show that, the judicial process works, so we're very happy about the outcome.
Today's judgment lends support to the King family's call for a new investigation into the killing. Jamie Floyd, ABC News, New York.
In other news today, the gun industry said that the Clinton administration's plan to prepare a federal lawsuit against it is blackmail. The gun makers believe the administration is trying to bludgeon them into changing how they sell and market their product. Administration officials admit their lawsuit is intended to be a negotiating tool. Here's ABC's Terry Moran.
The lawsuit being prepared accuses gun makers of selling legitimate dealers too many guns that end up in the black market, wreaking havoc in public housing projects. President Clinton said today the public housing authorities that will bring the case are not after money.
They're not trying to bankrupt any companies. They're trying to make their living spaces safer, and I think it's a legitimate thing.
The real impact of the administration's involvement will come at the negotiating table, bringing enormous pressure on the industry to settle suits brought by 29 cities and counties.
The potential impact is momentous. We think it radically alters the litigation landscape against the gun industry overnight.
The gun industry is much more vulnerable to the legal pressure to change their business practices because, unlike the multi-billion-dollar tobacco industry, gun makers are smaller companies and divided among themselves. Gun industry lawyers say the government is simply out to strong-arm them into submission.
We're just talking about blackmail. They're trying to use the president's bully pulpit to get something done that they couldn't get through the legislature.
But Housing Secretary Andrew Cuomo says it is time for the government to act one way or the other.
We would rather do this by agreement rather than by lawsuit. But the bottom line is something has to be done.
The gun makers are hoping they can withstand the pressure at the negotiating table until the next election, when they hope a Republican administration will simply drop this case. But that still leaves the city's lawsuits, which are moving forward in the courts. Terry Moran, ABC News, Washington.
One other item from the President's news conference today. The President defended NASA when he was asked about the failure of the space agency's latest mission to Mars. Mr. Clinton said it was a very hard mission to pull off. We all use the slogan, he said, this isn't rocket science. Well, this is rocket science, said the President. Just ahead in the broadcast, should sleeping in a public place be a crime? And a major development in medicine. We'll take a closer look at gene therapy.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Tylenol.
Labor of love took on a whole new meaning when Kyle was born. 12 hours of labor.
One of life's most joyful moments can also be one of its most painful. But take comfort, as so many women have, in Tylenol, the pain reliever doctors and hospitals choose most.
Come meet your little brother.
Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
Just when you think you have the latest computer, you
you don't. But for $41 a month, get an Intel Pentium 3 processor with a Gateway PC. And with the YourWare program, trade it in toward the purchase of a new one after 2 years. Call 1-800-GATEWAY and get a year of AOL included.
Excuse me, coming through. See ya.
Now bouillon's moving from your pantry right to your stove. New Weiler Shakers. Instant bouillon you can use as a seasoning. So shake up the flavor with new Weiler Shakers.
All right.
Today we step on the gas in a brand new vehicle with 0 miles on the clock and over 200 years of experience behind the wheel. ExxonMobil.
The Spot Lifter is Bissell's Wash It Down, Lift It Up, Get On With Your Life cordless deep cleaner. Life's messy. Clean it up.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas-X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster. Hey, want to go for ice cream? Gas-X, the power to fight gas fast.
The Department of Housing and Urban Development has released a very large study on homelessness in America today. The researchers talked to the homeless in 76 metropolitan areas and talked to almost 12,000 people who help the homeless. Help makes a difference. The government study finds that more than 3/4 of homeless families were able to leave shelters for permanent housing when they got help, with substance abuse or mental health or education. Homeless people have low educational levels, health and disability problems, and they are, of course, among the poorest in the nation. The top priority of homeless people interviewed in the survey was to get a job. How the homeless are treated in America's cities is a very political issue, nowhere more so right now than the city of New York. Here's ABC's Kevin Newman.
In New York, sleeping in a public place is now more than just uncomfortable. Since the mayor ordered a crackdown 15 days ago, 2,400 homeless have been told by police to move along, go to a shelter, or they'll be arrested.
I really think that he's trying to just so-called do away with homeless people.
We are not arresting homeless people for being homeless. We are not arresting homeless people for just sleeping on the street. Homeless people can only be arrested for committing crime.
Yet sleeping or sitting on public property is the charge against at least dozens of the 201 homeless arrested so far.
It's a right of shelter.
Public opinion polls say most New Yorkers are finding the crackdown a little harsh.
Giuliani needs to hear from people who are so outraged at his treatment of the homeless. He is out of control, this guy. He cleaned up New York. He made it better. He thinks he, runs the world. Newsflash, Rudy. It's not good to arrest the homeless people.
The mayor says the crackdown is also getting the homeless the help they need. Police say they've escorted 86 people to hospitals in the last 2 weeks, 500 to city shelters. Advocates for the homeless dispute those numbers. Point out that as of next Monday, city shelters will refuse to help parents who won't participate in the city's work for welfare program.
We're in the midst of a massive contradiction. On the one hand, we're saying you cannot have city shelter if you refuse to work. And if they are on the streets, we now say that we're going to arrest them.
And the mayor had also planned to allow the city to send children to foster homes if their families were expelled from shelters. But late this afternoon, a court ordered a 1-month delay in that policy.
Essentially what the court is saying is that it is in no one's interest to take children from the arms of their mothers.
That court decision may provide some comfort to the hundreds of people living outside in New York tonight as the temperatures dip near freezing. Kevin Newman, ABC News, New York.
On the money tonight, the cost of health care going up again for older people. A new study from the American Association of Retired Persons finds that the average Medicare recipient will spend 13% more of his own money on health care this year than last. Most of it is going to prescription drugs. Following the money, call it a surfing fee. Advertisers will pay you 50 cents an hour to track your web habits. A lot of people taking the money. There's also a fear that advertising rates on the net are going to decline because the number of websites is growing faster than the number of businesses looking to advertise there. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 38 points to close at 11,068. On the NASDAQ, stocks were down a little less than a point. The shares of Land's End, the clothing by catalog company, were down more than 24% today. The company sent out fewer catalogs to save money, but in the process lost more business than it had anticipated. When we come back, the groundbreaking medical treatment called gene therapy.
Where will you be when your grandson gets his first taste of the ocean? When man walks on Mars? When your children want to discover their heritage? Life is filled with moments you don't want to miss. That's why if you have high cholesterol and heart disease, you should know about Zocor. Zocor is proven to help save lives by reducing the risk of a heart attack. So where will you be tomorrow? That could depend on what you do today. When diet and exercise aren't enough, talk to your doctor about adding Zocor. Zocor is a prescription medication that is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor, and about any medicines you are taking. For more information, talk to your doctor or call. Zocor, it's your future. Be there.
What are you looking at, cable? It's just getting good.
3 minutes a week.
Ah, DirecTV. Hey, everybody. This is Tim. Look, DirecTV's got all your favorite cable channels. Plus, now you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Starz, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitment. DirecTV. What are you looking at?
There are a few things you need to do to make your home safe for you and your family, like setting your water heater at 120 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent burns, and installing smoke alarms outside of bedrooms. If your home was built before 1978, have it tested for lead-based paint. Did I mention proper wiring?
For a free brochure on HUD's Healthy Homes and to learn how an FHA loan can help you buy a home, just call.
HUD and FHA are on your side.
At the National Institutes of Health in Maryland today, a group of scientists has gathered to discuss the death of a teenager who was part of a gene therapy experiment. There's a serious question about whether he died because appropriate guidelines were not followed by the researchers. We're going to take a closer look at gene therapy tonight. It is certainly a new frontier in medicine. We are the sum total of our genes. We each have as many as 100,000 genes inside our cells. Genes help to determine our size and our color and other physical features. They can also determine how healthy we will be in the long run. We hear all the time how scientists have identified another missing or defective gene that contributes to a specific illness, including cancer and heart disease and Alzheimer's. These discoveries have led primarily to 2 different forms of treatment. Drug therapy, taking medications usually daily or weekly to control the defective gene, turning it on and off as needed. And the much more ambitious gene therapy, where patients can actually get a new, healthy version of the missing or defective gene. Scientists in the lab create the gene, make millions of copies of it, then inject them into the person who needs them in the hope that they will attach themselves to millions of cells and ultimately cure the illness. That's the hope for gene therapy. The fact is, this revolutionary form of medicine has yet to live up to expectations. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
Her name is Ashanti De Silva. She was born with a defective gene that crippled her immune system. 9 years ago, she became the first patient ever to undergo gene therapy. Doctors injected her with a healthy version of that same defective gene, millions of copies of it. Rarely in medicine has one experiment generated so much excitement. Some scientists were predicting gene therapy would soon conquer a variety of major diseases.
We thought in our own hearts, we really can be helping people very quickly, and we were simply wrong.
Hundreds of gene therapy experiments were started and stopped. The results disappointing. A cystic fibrosis treatment, a muscular dystrophy treatment, a brain cancer treatment, all failed. To this day, gene therapy has yet to cure anyone. Even De Silva, although much improved, still receives a weekly drug therapy to boost her immune system.
Gene therapy has worked well in many laboratory and animal experiments. But when it comes to humans,
scientists are still struggling to overcome at least 3 fundamental problems. There are delivery problems. Scientists have yet to figure out how to consistently get those millions of replacement genes to go to the specific organs where they're needed and not wasted elsewhere in the body.
If the disease is manifest in the liver, we want to deliver the gene to the liver. Going to the blood vessel is not going to help too much.
There are control problems. Even if the genes get to the correct organ, different genes function at different intensities, much like a light on a dimmer switch. Scientists have yet to figure out how much to turn a gene off or on. Too little and there's no benefit to the patient. Too much and there can be side effects.
They have to touch other genes and other proteins with which they need to interact. And if they don't touch, then this control won't happen.
Finally, rejection problems. To cure a disease, the replacement genes must be able to last. But the body's immune system naturally attacks anything foreign to it.
We need to engineer the genes so that it would become invisible to the immune system.
Researchers are making progress, but the successful experiments have been preliminary with small numbers of patients. And unlike 9 years ago, some scientists are more careful not to exaggerate the significance of the results.
We were too confident. We were too optimistic. Our problem now is not getting too depressed.
Not getting too depressed in the struggle to make gene therapy a safe and effective form of treatment. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
If you would like to learn more about gene therapy, and there's a lot more to learn, and stay on top of that meeting at the National Institutes of Health, there's a very extensive treatment of this on our website, abcnews.com. When we come back, prosecuting a violent attack at a hockey rink as the game was ending.
You are in the fight of your life. Just you against your smoking addiction, one-on-one. Trouble is, it's not a fair fight, and few people win it. But you can give yourself a fighting chance to win with Zyban. Zyban doesn't work for everyone. Zyban is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor to help you stop smoking. It's different from nicotine replacements. Zyban is the only prescription medicine that's nicotine-free, so you don't have to stop smoking all at once. As Zyban reduces your cravings, you feel like smoking less and less until you're ready to stop completely because you're ready to win. You should know there is a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you have or have had a seizure or eating disorder, or if you take Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you use an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you, because it can help you quit smoking by making it a fight you can win. Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once.
Wind tunnel by Hoover picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright. And you can get one that self-propels.
Who would you like to call?
Frank?
The Samsung digital wireless phone featuring internet access and voice-activated dialing. Flip the phone, shout the name, and Samsung dials the number. Samsung Digital. Everyone's invited.
Do you need this much space to feel comfortable? Do you need to feel the breeze on your face? Is taking a nap really the best use of your time? Introducing the all-new redesigned Avalon, the most spacious, most luxurious sedan we've ever created. Do you need this much space to feel comfortable?
This holiday, over 7 million pets will be homeless. But when you buy a limited edition PetSmart ornament for $4.99, you can help. All proceeds go to PetSmart charities to benefit local homeless animals. Make a pet's holiday wish come true at PetSmart.
Thanks for making Aleve. For almost 5 years, I had a hard time walking. I went from doctor to doctor and even had surgery on both knees. Pain relievers like Tylenol quit after a few hours and the pain came back. Finally, a doctor suggested Aleve. Within a week, I was dancing all night like I hadn't done in years.
Aleve can stop pain all day with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Now people say I'm a walking advertisement for Aleve.
All day strong, all day long.
Tonight, think this only happens in the movies?
Shocking hidden camera video captures desperate people making deadly agreements.
I will pay to have him dead. Dead as a doorknob. I will even help bury him.
Murder for Hire 2020 tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn. Coming up next on Channel 2 News at 6:30, victims of a Lynn County crime spree look on as the main suspect faces arraignment. And visit a Christmas shopper's paradise where the spirit of giving is alive and well.
Finally this evening, in a wealthy Chicago suburb today, a 15-year-old boy is facing criminal charges after an incident at a hockey game. Prosecutors have charged the boy with aggravated assault, saying that he used his hockey stick as a deadly weapon. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
There's no question that hockey can be a very rough sport. Everyone who plays or watches it will tell you violence is part of the game. But what happened at a high school game last month was criminal, according to the Lake County, Illinois prosecutors. 15-year-old Neil Goss, his team's co-captain, is now partially paralyzed after he was cross-checked from behind by a 15-year-old opponent and sent sprawling headfirst into the boards, just after the buzzer ending the game, according to the prosecutors.
The victim in this case was not playing hockey. He was skating off the rink. He wasn't even looking in the direction of the person who attacked him.
And yet the filing of criminal charges is opposed by officials for both teams.
If a child has to go out and play a physical contact sport with the knowledge of the possibility of criminal prosecution for any mistake or any accident, then that's going to scare people away.
But prosecutors say this was no accident and that the offending player even taunted the victim after the hit.
We found clear evidence that the defendant intended to harm the victim in this case.
The defendant, described as heartsick about what happened, has been suspended by the high school league for 30 days. He could face further sporting sanctions.
As for Neil Goss, he is undergoing therapy here and trying to deal with his disability. His parents today filed a separate lawsuit seeking damages from the family of the boy who injured their son. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Chicago.
Just a brief review of our main story today. President Clinton held his final news conference of the year. His announcement: two major adversaries in the Middle East have agreed to negotiate with each other with American help. Israel and Syria will begin meeting to discuss their future in Washington next week. Mr. Clinton also said today he will not interfere in the legal battle going on right now over this 6-year-old Cuban boy. His relatives want to stay him in Florida. His father wants him to go home to Cuba. The president said he wanted to take some of the political steam out of the controversy. That is our report on World News Tonight. Later on Nightline, an inside view of the gun manufacturing industry. And don't forget 2020. I'm Peter Jennings. I hope we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
From ABC News, tomorrow, a blazing warehouse fire claims the lives of 6 brave men. Now from the Worcester Memorial Service, remembering the heroes lost on Good Morning America tomorrow. And on World News Tonight, food grown with genetically altered seeds. Is the public forcing farmers to stop? On World News Tonight. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other